Hello everyone, my name is Frost, and today I would like to share my Horde Mage Leveling Guide with you. It is tailored for undead, however you can also start to use it for trolls around levels 10 to 12, all the way up to 60, and many of the AoE grind spots will also work for Alliance. However, many of the spots do have a Horde bias to avoid competition and ganking as much as possible, or some spots may even have a Horde only vendor nearby. I gathered the level 1 to 15 data from leveling as many mages as I could during the last stress test. But from level 15 onward, I had to rely on information from private servers. As a result, some information may not be 100% accurate, although I did try to test as many of the AoE spots as I could during the last stress test by running my level 15 mage into deadly territory. Also, we don't have the exact info on XP per hour yet, but it does appear that dungeons will be better on Classic than they were on private servers, meaning that dungeon farming may be a viable option. One last thing that I want to mention is that some mages have complained that AoE farming does not work on the Classic beta. I haven't been able to test this myself, but I don't see why it wouldn't work, especially if you do safe pulls. However, that's enough chit chat, let's get into how to level. So starting in Death Knell, if you will be playing during the launch of Classic, be prepared. It is going to be a hellhole, even with layering. Getting tags is going to be nearly impossible, especially as a mage with all those rogues and priests running around that can get tags faster than a mage, because Smite has no travel time, but the same cast time as Fireball, and even Throw can land faster than casting a Fireball. And from the stress test, as you can see, tagging a zombie is possible with layering, but getting all of the ones that you need to complete the first quest is going to take a long time. That is why I just skipped this quest and farmed to level 2, mostly killing wolves and bats, and I'll tag a few zombies here and there. I do have a spot that I found during the stress test that not many people seem to notice had so many mobs that I will be using to try to get ahead of the pack on the launch of Classic. So you can tune into my Twitch at twitch.tv/Frostlive on launch day if you want to find out where that spot is. This is the only spot that I will not be revealing in this video, as level 1 to 2 is not a big deal for many, and as I said, this will be my boost to beat people out of Death Knell. And if you are that mad about me not saying this one spot for level 1 to 2, just do a little digging and you can find the spot yourself, I promise. So after level 2, you want to go and accept the quest to kill bats and wolves and continue killing them until you get to level 3 from turning in the quest. Or you can also just grind to level 3. But the wolf and bat quest is a pre-quest to the next few quests. Then at 3, you accept and complete the box quest and the spider quest, while hoping that Samuel is up. When he is not up, just skip him, but I always think it's worth checking just in case you get lucky. Then you accept and complete the Scarlet Crusade quest at level 4 to get to level 5. Or if you're already close to level 5, then just grind to level 5 because your goal is to get to level 5 as fast as possible. Once you are level 5, you want to head out to Tirisfal Glades. I try to get level 6 before making it to Brill by doing the Pumpkin quest and the Doomweed quests while farming mobs. I like this path because the pumpkins and the weeds were respawning very quickly on the stress test, making them very easy to finish. Getting level 6 before going to Brill will allow you to accept the quests that require 6 in Brill, and you can train rank 2 Fireball and rank 1 Fire Blast before doing a big round of quests. After this, the zone is pretty straightforward and you just want to try and get to 10 as fast as possible so that you can go to Silverpine. However, before you go to Silverpine, head into the Undercity to go train daggers and one-handed swords for 10 silver each, but only do this if you can afford your abilities first. Also, set your hearth in the Undercity and train level 10 skills before you run out the sewers, which spits you out right next to the entrance to Silverpine Forest. Once you walk into Silverpine, the first thing you'll notice after the scary ominous music are wargs. You will want to start killing these and hold on to 6 of their discolored warg hearts, as they are for a quest that are a little bit into the zone. In Silverpine, I do all the low-level quests, which gets me to about 12.5, at which point I head out to the Barrens, because Silverpine has a big lull in quests until the high teens. However, before I go to the Barrens, I make a stop in the Undercity on my way to the Zeppelin to train level 12 skills and to buy a level 15 wand from the vendor for 33 silver and 40 copper. I buy this wand because it is faster than trying to do a high level wand quest at level 13 where you risk dying or not being able to complete it. And I say this because when I was one of the first to make it to the area to do the level 13 quest on the stress test, I couldn't finish it because there was a rare that was spawned there that I had no chance at killing alone. However, if someone is selling one of the enchanting wands, just buy one of those if it's a reasonable price. Also, as a side note, I would not recommend leveling enchanting as yourself if your goal is speed leveling, because it will slow you down over buying a wand from the vendor or just doing a level 13 wand quest. Now that you grabbed the flight path from Org after your Zeppelin ride and made your way over to the crossroads, I would recommend setting your Hearthstone at either the crossroads or Ratchet, as you will stay in the Barrens until around level 19. And once you start doing the Barrens quests, you want to keep an eye out for Chen's Empty Keg, as it is an easy quest line to complete and it is easily able to be woven into your other quests, and it gives a good amount of XP. Once you get to about 16 and your quests in the Barrens are starting to get to be too high of a level, then it is time to head to Stone Talon. Here I do the easy to complete quests, which are all the quests in the southeast side of Stone Talon, so not in the Charred Vale or anywhere north of Sunrock, and those can get you about 1.5 to 2 levels, especially if you kill your way around the zone. Also, skip the quest line at the top of the waterfall in the Windshear Crag, as there's way too much travel time for this quest and how much XP it gives. After Stone Talon is done, hearth back to Ratchet and finish questing in the Barrens, except now you will be about level 18 instead of 16, which will make those higher level quests much easier. I try to get to 20 in the Barrens, depending on how much competition I have in the Southern Barrens. This way I can train Teleport and Org before heading to Hillsbrad, but if I can't get 20 in the Barrens, then I will just go to Silver Pine at 19, and I will leave my hearth in Orgrimmar so that I can fly to the Undercity to train Teleport to Undercity, and then I will hearth to Org to train Teleport to Org, and then I will TP back to the Undercity to go back to Hillsbrad. So this will allow me to keep my hearth in Tarn Mill, or wherever is the most convenient for me for the rest of my leveling experience, because I can always just TP to the main city. Now that you are 20 and have Blizzard, and just need 1 or 2 more talent points to open up AoE farming, do quests in Hillsbrad to get from 20 to 22, and then when you're 22, just start to AoE farm the mobs on the farm. And then once you get to 26, AoE farm the cave, while maybe completing 1 or 2 quests as some supplemental XP. Hillsbrad can get you all the way to 30 easily. If the Hillsbrad farming spots are taken, then there's another AoE farm spot in Ashenvale on the Laughing Sisters, and these are only needed for a mage quest, so they're not killed very often, and there's plenty of them to farm without downtime. The Laughing Sisters, however, are only level 24 and 25, which is slightly higher than the farm, but lower than the cave. My general rule is I want to be at most 2 levels below the highest level mob, so I like to get to level 23 before farming the Laughing Sisters. The last spot that I use every once in a while for the high 20s is the High Perch Wyverns and Thousand Needles. However, I'm not a huge fan of farming here because the pulls aren't that big, so it's almost like a last resort thing if all the other spots are taken. Once you get to level 30, you want to go to Arathi Highlands to farm at Dabry's Farmstead. This is a spot that only Horde can kill mobs at, however Alliance do have their equivalent to the south, which is actually a better spot than the Horde spot since it has more mobs to kill. I don't like to start here until level 30 though, because there are some boss mobs there that are higher level than the rest, and once you're 30 you can just add them into your AoE pool, making it much easier. The next spot that I go, once I out-leveled Dabry's Farmstead, is to the Murlocs on the island in the northeast of Dustwallow Marsh. They're level 35 to 36, so I wait to go here until I'm at least level 34. And before you go to Dustwallow Marsh, make sure you buy 3 soothing spices, and then also don't forget to grab the 3 easy quests from the entrance to Dustwallow Marsh at the burned down house, which are the shield, the badge, and the hoofprints. If you start getting tired of grinding around these levels, there are also some very good quest zones that you can do, including the 1,000 Needles Shimmering Flats quests, the Desolace quests, the Dustwallow Marsh quests, and finally for the high 30s, the Badlands quests. And Badlands is definitely my favorite of these quest areas, especially for mages, because many of its quest mobs can be AoE'd down, and there are also really good rewards like the Nifty Stopwatch or Skull of Impending Doom. And there are a ton of Old Man quests, making it one of the few dungeons worth doing while leveling in my opinion. Speaking of dungeons, you just dinged 40 and you are just short of being able to afford your mount. The best option you can do at this point, if you can't get a guildie to loan you the rest, is to do an Old Man quest run. There are 5 quests that you can get along with a mage quest for a level 41, and there's a necklace quest that starts inside along with the disc quest that starts at the end, for a total of 8 quests. If you go into this dungeon with empty bags and all these quests, you will be coming out somewhere between 5 to 10 gold richer, which is usually enough to afford your mount as long as you've been vendoring everything along the way. So once you are level 40 and you have your mount and ice barrier, my favorite spot for the low 40s is most definitely Swamp of Sorrows. There are packs covering the entire zone that are just asking to be AoE down, and it is one of the less popular zones in vanilla. Many people will never even quest here on their way to 60. I start by farming the spiders that are just east of Stonard, and I love this spot because there's a chest spawn. The spiders drop a lot of valuable loot like spider silks and white spider meat that is used for stam food. And then to top it off, the vendor, mailbox, and the graveyard are right there at Stonard. The spiders are only level 40 to 41 though, so once I make it to 42 or 43, I go kill murlocs on the southeast coast of Swamp of Sorrows. This spot is not quite as close to Stonard for vendoring, and the murloc loot is not quite as good, but you get a lot more XP per hour from the murlocs as the pulls are much bigger. An alternative spot to the spiders and murlocs are the Tenaris Waste Wanderer bandits and thieves that are level 40 and 41. Once you make it to level 46, the best thing you can do is solo farm Mara. However, there are some prerequisites to being able to do this. The first is you have to obtain a scepter from doing a Mara quest run, and then you will need a lot of invis pots, 1 per run. Then, to farm it efficiently, you will also need a friend or guildie that can reset the dungeon for you while you relog. Now, if you can do all these things, then you can solo farm Mara all the way to level 52, getting anywhere between 71 to 120k XP per hour, making it much faster than any other spot if you can get the scepter and the invis pots. And I will leave a link in the description to a video showing how to do these Mara solo runs. Now, if you can't get all the setup for doing Mara solo runs, don't worry, there are other options. So the next option is to farm the Tenaris docks. These mobs are level 44 to 45 and have really big pulls, but you will need to be careful in this spot as there are ranged mobs wandering all around and it is a very easy spot to die. And it's a long run back, so don't die. Not to mention that there's a lot of ganking that goes on in this spot because so many people do these quests. But if you can get this farm down, then it is great XP. Another option is to do a ZF quest run. Since there are so many quests for ZF, it is worth doing, especially if you can find someone with a mallet, kind of like the Old Man quests. If you would rather quest through the high 40s, then I recommend either Feralis or the Hinterlands. I noticed that these zones have quest mobs that can be AoE'd down, making these zones much better than Searing Gorge or Felwood. However, if you prefer to just farm all the way to 60, the best spot I could find for 48 to 50 were the Ravissors in Ungoro Crater, but they are kinda hard to farm because they're so far apart, so the pulls aren't quite as big. Now, all that is left is the home stretch, 50 to 60. At level 50, I like to go to Felwood and farm the slimes in front of Jadenar until level 52. These slimes are nice to farm since they are so close together and no one ever competes to kill them because they aren't a part of any quest lines. And there are two types of slimes in this area. There are the level 50 cursed slimes slightly to the south that have no cast but bigger pulls, and then there are the level 52 tainted slimes, which there are less of, but they cast a debuff, making them harder to group. However, they can still be AoE down because they don't have any ranged damage abilities. So you can really do either, as the level 52s give you more XP per mob, but the level 50s you can kill more of. Then at level 52 or 53, I go to Dowson's Tears in Western Plaguelands, which has absolutely massive AoE pulls, which makes this spot worth farming all the way to level 57. So yes, if you can keep this spot solo or even with one other mage, stay there until level 57. If this spot is taken, then another option is to solo farm BRD, but like Mara, it takes setup. You will need a Shadowforge key, more invis pots, and again a friend or a guildie to be able to help you out to reset the dungeon. But if you can get this spot set up, it will likely be the fastest way to farm from level 52 to 56. And once again, I will put a link in the description to a video that shows you how to solo farm BRD. Another option for level 52 plus is questing an Ngoro, which can get you a level or two even. Just remember to bring a mithril casing for the Chasing AMEO1 quest. At level 52, you can also AoE farm the Timbermaw hold in Northern Felwood. This spot is not the best for XP per hour, but if you want their rep, this can be a great way to kill two birds with one stone. For level 54 plus, the best spot is Northridge Lumber Camp. It has big pulls of level 55s and 56s, which you can easily ride all the way to 60. However, if you start getting bored at this spot or just want a change of scenery since you have been in the Plaguelands for so long, since level 52, a good spot to go is Silithus. You can farm the Dredge Crushers there and the Scorpions. They're level 56 to 58, so being 56 plus is recommended, but the pulls aren't as big as Northridge Lumber Camp, making the XP per hour a bit lower. Then there's the quest options, which include Western or Eastern Plaguelands, Silithus, and Winter Spring quests. Those are not going to be as fast as grinding, but they can definitely be less monotonous. However, keep in mind that Winter Spring kind of sucks for mages because many of the mobs have high frost resist, but there are a few quests that you can do there, and it might even be possible to AoE farm the Frost Sabers in the north. It just depends on how high their frost resist is in actual Classic. But since they are level 56 to 59, they may give really good XP per hour if they don't have high frost resist. And that concludes my mage leveling guide. Now that you are 60, it's time to go get that pre-raid bis. And to help you out with that, my next video will be a pre-raid bis video for Phase 1 Mage. If you like this video, please leave a like, and if you'd like to see any future videos that I put out, just hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all on Azeroth.